Hi students, I am Vedamurthy. You are watching Chemistry Classes channel. Dear students, today we are going to discuss about structure of atom part 3. In this video, we'll going to cover developments of leading to Bohr's model of atom. In that particular section, we have many subsections are there. Those we are going to be cover in this video. Wave nature of electromagnetic radiation, particle nature of electromagnetic radiation by Planck's quantum theory, photoelectric effect, dual behavior of electromagnetic radiation, evidence for the quantized electronic energy level in that atomic spectra, emission and absorption spectra, and line spectrum of hydrogen. Friends, welcome to my channel again. Friends, if you are new to this channel, please subscribe the channel. So now let us continue the main thing about this video. Historically, results observed from the studies of the interactions of radiations with the matter have provided immense information regarding the structure of atoms and molecules. Niels Bohr utilized these results to improve upon the model proposed by Rutherford. Two developments played a major role in the form of Bohr's model of atom. These are: one is dual character of the electromagnetic radiation, which means that radiation possesses both wave like and particle like properties, and the second one is experimental results regarding atomic spectra. So now we will discuss about the dual nature of electromagnetic radiation. A wave nature of electromagnetic radiation. In the mid 19th century, a physicist actively studied absorption and emission of radiation by heated objects. These are called thermal radiations. They try to find out of what are the thermal radiations are made. It's well known that the thermal radiation of consists of electromagnetic waves of various frequencies or wavelengths. It is based on a number of modern concepts which were unknown in the mid 19th century. First active study of thermal radiation laws occurred in the 1850s, and the theory of electromagnetic waves and the emission of such waves by accelerating charged particles was developed in the early 1870s by James Clerk Maxwell, who was experimentally confirmed the later of he and Heinrich Hertz also involved in this. Here we will learn some facts about electromagnetic radiations. James Maxwell 1970 was the first scientist to give a comprehensive explanation about the interaction between the charged bodies and the behavior of electrical and magnetic fields on microscopic level. As per James Maxwell, suggested that when electrically charged particles moves under acceleration, alternating electrical and magnetic fields are produced and those are transmitted. These fields are transmitted in the forms of wave called electromagnetic waves or electromagnetic radiations. Light in the form of radiation known from early days, and speculations about its nature dates back to remote ancient times. In early days, as per Newton, light was supported to be made of particles or corpuscles. It was only in the 19th century when the wave nature of the light was established. Maxwell was again the first. He revealed that light waves are associated with oscillating electric and magnetic characters. Although electromagnetic wave motion is complex in nature, we'll consider here only a few simple preparations. One is the oscillating electric and magnetic field produced by oscillating charged particles are perpendicular to each other. and both are perpendicular to the direction of the proper propagation of the wave. Simplified picture of electromagnetic wave in shown in the figure is the first figure. Unlike sound waves are waves produced in the water, electromagnetic waves do not require medium and can move in the vacuum. It's now well known established that there are many types of electromagnetic radiations which differ from one another in wavelength or frequency. These constitute what is called electromagnetic spectrum. So different regions of the spectrum are identified by different names. Some examples are radio frequency region around 10 upon 16 Hz, which is used for broadcasting. A microwave region around 10 upon 10 Hz used for radar technology. Infrared region around 10 upon 13 Hz, which is used for heating. And the ultraviolet region around 10 upon 16 Hz, a component of the sun's radiation. The small portion around 10 upon 15 Hz is visible light that we can see by our eyes. But many other special instruments are required to detect non-visible radiations. Different kinds of units are used to represent electromagnetic radiations. Okay, these radiations are characterized by the properties, namely frequency and wavelength. So frequency we can call it as v, and wavelength you can put it as lambda. The SI unit for frequency is v, or nu is hertz, hertz per second. So as per Heinrich Hertz name, it is defined as the number of waves that pass a given point in 1 second. Wavelength should have the units of length, as you know that the SI units of length is meter, that is m. Since electromagnetic radiation consists of different kinds of waves of much smaller wavelengths, a smaller units are used, which is shown various types of electromagnetic radiation which differ from one another in wavelengths and frequencies. In the vacuum, all types of electromagnetic radiations, regardless of wavelength, travel at the same speed, that is 3 into 10 upon 8 meter per second. So this is called the speed of light is given by the symbol c. The frequency nu or v, wavelength lambda, the velocity of light as reflected by the equation like this: c is equal to v by lambda. The other commonly used quantity, especially in spectroscopy, is the wave number v bar. It is defined as the number of wavelengths per unit length. So its units are reciprocal wavelength unit, that is per meter. However, commonly used unit is per centimeter, but is not in SI unit. So now in this we'll solve some uh, two to three problems. So one problem is the Vivid Bharati station of All India Radio Delhi broadcast in a frequency of 1368 kilohertz. So calculate the wavelength of the electromagnetic radiation emitted by transmitter. Which part of the electromagnetic spectrum does it belong? So how we can solve this one? By using the equation c is equal to v by lambda. So we can, here we know the values c, that is speed of light or speed of electromagnetic radiation, and v also is given in the problem. So v is nothing but 1368 kilohertz. So c is 3 into 10 upon 8 meter per second. So you can substitute both, so we'll get the answer 219.3 meter. So this is a characteristic radio wavelength. The second problem, the wavelength range of the visible spectrum extend from light 400 nanometer to red 750 nanometer. Express these wavelengths in frequencies hertz. So here nanometer is nothing but 1 nanometer is equal to 10 upon minus 9 meter. So now we can, the same formula you can use here. So frequency of visible light we can calculate. Here the known things are the c is the known thing, is a constant, 3 into 10 upon 8 meter per second, and lambda is the 400 nanometer, that is ultraviolet light. Ultraviolet light lambda is 400 nanometer. So now substitute these two values. So frequency of violet light v is equal to c by lambda. So we can substitute these 3 into 10 upon 8 meter per second divided by 400 into 10 upon 9 minus 9 meter. So you'll get the answer 7.5 into 10 upon 14 hertz. Same way we can calculate for frequency of red light. So v is equal to z by lambda. Again the formula same remains. Then we can substitute the values here. One is 3 into 10 upon 8 meter per second divided by 750 into 10 upon minus 9 meter. So 750 into 10 upon minus 9 meter is given in the problem itself only. So now we'll get the answer 4 into 10 upon 14 hertz. The range of visible spectrum is from 4 into 10 upon 14 to 7.5 into 10 upon 14 hertz in terms of frequency units. The third problem. So now you have to calculate the wave number and frequency of yellow radiation having wavelength 5800 angstrom. Here we have to calculate the wave number v bar. So we know that lambda wavelength is 5800 angstrom, that we can write it as even 5800 into 10 upon minus 8 centimeter, or even you can write it as 5800 minus 10 meter. So now the formula is v bar is equal to 1 by lambda. So 1 divided by 5800 into 10 upon minus 10 meter. So we will get the answer 1.724 into 10 upon 6 per meter. So that same thing can be converted to 1.724 into 10 upon 4 per centimeter. Now we have to calculate the frequency v. V is equal to c by lambda. C is 3 into 10 upon 8 meter per second, and wavelength is 5800 into 10 upon minus 10 meter. We'll get the answer 5.172 into 10 upon 14 per second. So now this particle nature of electromagnetic radiation by Planck's quantum theory we'll go into discuss. Some of the experimental phenomenon such as diffraction and interference can be explained by the wave nature of electromagnetic radiation. However, here we will discuss some of the observations which could not explained with the help of even the electromagnetic theory of 19th century physics. What is the called? That is called classical physics. The one is the nature of emission of radiation from heat bodies or black body radiation. Second, ejection of electrons from metal surface when radiation strikes it, that is photoelectric effect. A variation of heat capacity of solids as a function of the temperature. And lastly, line spectra of atom with special reference to hydrogen. These phenomena indicate that the system can take energy only in discrete amounts. All possible energies cannot be taken up or radiated. So that first we have to convert the explanation for the phenomenon of the black body radiation mentioned above was given by Max Planck in 1900. So let us first try to understand what is this phenomena which is given. So hot objects emit electromagnetic radiations over a wide range of wavelength at high temperature. An appreciable proportion of radiation is in the visible region of the spectrum. As the temperature is raised, a higher portion of the short wavelength or blue light is generated. As this is heated further, the radiation emitted becomes white and then becomes blue as the temperature becomes very high. So this means that red radiation is most intense at a particular temperature and blue radiation is more intense at another temperature. This means that the intensities of radiations of different wavelengths emitted by hot body depend upon its temperature. Okay, by late 1850s it was known that objects made of different material and kept at different temperatures emit different amount of radiation. Also, when the surface of an object is radiated with light, a part of the radiation energy is generally reflected as such, and another part of absorbed, and a part of it is transmitted. The reason for incomplete absorption is that ordinary objects are, as a rule, imperfect absorbers of radiation. An ideal body which emits and absorbs radiation of all frequencies uniformly is called a black body, and the radiation emitted by such a body is called black body radiation. In fact, so no such black bodies are exist. So this is nothing but a carbon black approximates fairly closely to a black body. A good physical approximation to a black body is a cavity with a tiny hole which has no other opening. Any ray entering the hole will be reflected by the cavity walls and will be even to allow absorbed by the walls. A black body is also a perfect radiator of radiant energy. Furthermore, a black body is in thermal equilibrium with its surround surroundings. It radiates some same amount of energy per unit area as it absorbs from its surrounding in any given time. The amount of light emitted from a black body and its spectral distribution depends only on its temperature at a given temperature. So, at a given temperature, the intensity of radiation emitted increases with the increase of wavelength, so which reaches a maximum value at a given wavelength, and then starts decreasing with the further increase of the wavelength as shown in the figure. So you can see the figure here. So these two figures, decrease and increase. Okay. So this is one is a black circle one, which is a black body radiations like that. Also, in the temperature increases, maxima of the curve shifts to short wavelength. Several attempts were made to several attempts were made. Okay. So several whenever attempts are made to predict the intensity of radiation as a function of the wavelength, but whatever the results of the experiment could not be explained satisfactorily on the basis of the wave theory of lights. So Max Planck arrived at a satisfactory relationship by making an assumption that absorption and emission of radiation arises from oscillator, that is atoms in a wall of black body. So there is a frequency of oscillation is changed by interaction with the oscillators of the electromagnetic radiation. As per Planck, that uh, radiation could be subdivided into discrete chunks of the energy. He suggested that atoms and molecules could emit or absorb energy only in discrete quantities and not in a continuous manner. So Planck gave the name quantum to the smallest quantity of the energy that can be emitted or absorbed in the form of electromagnetic radiation. The energy E of a quantum radiation is proportional to its frequency V, and it is expressed by the equation E is equal to h nu or hv. So the proportionality constant h is known as Planck's constant, and the value is 6.626 into 10 upon minus 34 joule per second. So this Planck's constant value is very important for solving many problems. Students, please keep in the mind. So with this theory, Planck was able to explain the distribution of the intensity in the radiation from black body as a function of the frequency or wavelength at a different temperature. So quantum has been, so based on this study, so we can quantization has been compared to standing on a staircase. A person, if the person is standing on the staircase, he can stand only first or second step or next step, but he cannot stand in between the two steps. The same way, the energy can take any one of the values from the following set but cannot take or any values in between them. So E is equal to 0 HV, 1 HV, or 2 HV, or 3 HV, so on so on. So now, so what is photoelectric effect? So Henry Hertz in 1887 performed a very interesting experiment in which electrons were ejected when certain metals, maybe it's potassium or rubidium or cesium, so were exposed to a beam of light, so as shown in the figure. So the phenomenon is called the photoelectric effect. The results observed in this experiment. So first, the electrons are ejected from the metal surface as soon as the beam of light strikes the surfaces. That is, there is no time lag between the striking of light beam and the ejection of the electrons from the metal surface. The number of electrons ejected is proportional to the intensity or brightness of the light. And third last, for each metal there is a characteristic minimum frequency V0, also known as threshold frequency, so below which photoelectric effect is not observed. At a frequency V is more than V0, the ejected electrons come out with the certain kinetic energy. The kinetic energies of the electrons increase with the increase of frequency of the light used. See, all these results could not be explained on the basis of the laws of classical physics. Later, the energy content of the beam of light depends upon the brightness of the light. In other words, number of electrons ejected and the kinetic energy associated with the and should depend on the brightness of the light. So it has been observed that though the number of electrons ejected does depend upon the brightness of the light, the kinetic energy of the ejected electron does not depend on the brightness of the light. For example, so red light V is equal to 4.3 to 4.6 10 upon 14 hertz of any brightness intensity may shine on a piece of potassium metal for hours, but no photoelectrons are ejected. So as soon as even a very weak yellow light, so V is equal to 5.1 to 5.2 into 10 upon 14 hertz, shines on the potassium metal. The photoelectric effect is observed. The threshold frequency V0 for potassium metal is 5 into 10 upon 14 hertz. So Einstein 1905 was able to explain the photoelectric effect using Planck's quantum theory of electromagnetic radiation as a starting point. The shining of beam of light on a metal surface, therefore, to be viewed as shooting the beam of the particle, the photons. When a photon of sufficient energy strikes an electron in the atom of the metal, it transfers its energy instantaneously to the electron during the collisions, and the electron is ejected without any time lag or delay. So greater the energy possessed by the photon, greater will be transfer of energy to the electron and greater the kinetic energy of the ejected electrons. So on the other hand, kinetic energy of the ejected electron is proportional to the frequency of the electromagnetic radiation. Since the striking photon has energy which is equal to hv and the minimum energy required to eject the electron is hv0, so it is also called as work function. So work function we can write it as W0. So that is given in the value of work function for a few metals, it is given in the table. So lithium it is given, sodium, potassium, magnesium, copper and gold. Okay students. So then the difference in energy HV minus HV0 so is transferred as the kinetic energy of the photoelectron. Following the conservation of the energy principle, the kinetic energy of the ejected electron is given by the equation HV is equal to HV0 plus half 1 by 2 into MeV square, where Me is the mass of the electron and V is the velocity associated with the ejected electrons. Lastly, a more intense beam of the light consists of a larger number of photons. Consequently, the number of electrons ejected is also larger as compared to that in a experiment in which a beam of the weaker intensity of the light is employed. So now DL will going to discuss next continue for the dual behavior of the electromagnetic radiation. So what is this? How it will happen? So with this dual behavior of electromagnetic radiation, we'll go into solve some 2, 3 or more 3 more problems. So now we'll discuss some explanation about the dual behavior of electromagnetic radiation. How it? The particle nature of the light posed a dilemma for scientists. On the one hand, it could explain the black body radiation and photoelectric effect satisfactorily, but it was not consistent with the known wave behavior of the light, which could affect for the phenomena of interference and diffraction. The only way to resolve the dilemma was to accept the idea that light possesses both particle and wave, like properties like light as a dual behavior. So depending on the experiment, we find that light behaves either as a wave or as a stream of particles. Whenever radiations interact with matter, so it displays particles likely properties in contrast to the wave like properties, so or interference or diffraction, so which it exhibits when it propagates. So this concept was totally aligned to the way the scientists thought about matter and radiation, and it took them a long time to become convinced of its validity. So it turns out, as you shall see the later, that some microscopic particles like electrons also exhibit this wave particle duality. So we'll discuss some few more problems here. So first one question is, calculate the energy of 1 mole of the photons of radiation whose frequency is 5 into 10 upon 14 hertz. Here we can use the formula is E is equal to hv. So h is the Planck's constant, we know that is 6.626 into 10 upon minus 34 joule per second. So here frequency V, we know that is given in the problem itself, 5 into 10 upon 14 hertz. So we can substitute both these values. E is equal to 6.626 into 10 upon minus 34 joules plus 5 into 10 upon 14 per second. So you'll get 3.310 into 10 upon minus 19 joule. So that will 3.31 into 10 upon minus 19 joule, we can convert it to energy of 1 mole of the photon. So energy of 1 mole of the photon can be converted like this: 3.313 into 10 upon minus 19 joule into 6.022 into 10 upon 23 per mole. So mole formula, mole constant is 6.022 into 10 upon 23 mole. We'll get the answer 119. By multiplying of these two, we'll get the answer 199.5 kilojoule per mole. So second problem is, a 100-watt bulb emits monochromatic light of the wavelength 400 nanometer. So calculate the number of photons emitted per second in the bulb by the bulb. See here, the power of the bulb is given 100 watt, so nothing but 100 joule per second. So energy of one photon is equal to, you can calculate E is equal to hv. So we can substitute these values, also equal to hc divided by lambda. Okay, so hc is 6.626 into 10 upon minus 34 joule per second, and c is 3 into 10 upon 8 per more second. Both are the constants, and the one thing is given in the formula is 400 wavelength, that is 400 into 10 upon minus 9 meter. So you will get 4.969 into 10 upon minus 19 joule. So now we have to convert it to number of photons emitted. So 100 joules per second divided by 4.969 into 10 upon minus 19. We'll get the answer 2.012 into 10 upon 20 per second. The third problem, when electromagnetic radiation of wavelength 300 nanometer falls on the surface of sodium, so electrons are emitted with a kinetic energy of 1.68 into 10 upon 5 joule per mole. What is the minimum energy needed to remove the electron from the sodium? So, and what is the maximum wavelength that will cause a photoelectron to be emitted? Here we have to calculate the two factors. So first of all, the energy E of 300 photon is given by the question itself only. So HV is equal to Hc divided by lambda. So H is the Planck's constant, C is the speed of the light or radiations. So that we can substitute, and lambda is given by the problem itself only, 300 into 10 upon minus 9. So we can substitute all these values. So H is 6.626 into 10 upon minus 34 joule per second, and into C is nothing but 3.0 into 10 upon 8 meter per second, divided by lambda is nothing but 300 into 10 upon minus 9 meter. So by we'll get the answer is 6.626 into 10 upon minus 19 joule. So energy of 1 mole of the proton will be converted to 6.626 into 10 upon minus 19 joule into 6.022 into 10 upon 23 per mole. So we'll get in the energy of 1 mole of the proton is 3.99 into 10 upon 5 joule per mole. Now we have to calculate the minimum energy needed to remove the 1 mole of the electron from the sodium. So here 3.9, one energy mole of the proton is 3.9 into 10 upon 5 joule per mole. So 3.99 minus 1.68. 1.68 is kinetic energy is given in the problem itself only. So by substituting this one, subtracting this two, so we'll get a answer 2.31 into 10 upon 5 joule per mole. The minimum energy of one electron, that we can convert it to 2.31 into 10 upon 5 joule per mole divided by 6.022 into 10 upon 23. So you'll get a 3.84 into 10 upon minus 19 joule. So this corresponds to the wavelength. Lambda is equal to Hc by E is equal to 6.626 into 10 upon minus 34 joule per second into 3 into 10 upon 8 meter per second divided by 3.84 into 10 upon minus 19 joule. So this corresponds to the green light. Okay. So last problem is the threshold frequency for V0 for a metal is J into 10 upon here metal is 7 into 10 upon 14 per second. Calculate the kinetic energy of an electron emitted when radiation of the frequency V is equal to 1.0 into 10 upon 15 per second. It's the metal. Students, here we know the Einstein equation. According to Einstein equation, kinetic energy is equal to 1 by 2 into me v square is equal to h into v minus v0, difference of wave numbers or wave frequencies. So 6.62 is the Planck's constant. 6.62 into 10 upon minus 34 joule per second into 1 into 10 upon 15 joule per second minus 7 into 10 upon 14 joule per second. This is given in the problem itself only. So 1.0 into 10 upon 15 joule per second is converted to 10 into 10 upon 14 joule per second. Okay, so that will becomes easy to calculate. So 6.626 into 10 upon minus 34 joule second into 10 into 10 to the power of 14 joule per second minus 7 into 10 upon 14 joule per second. So we'll get the answer 6.6 to 1.988 into 10 upon minus 19 joule. So here we'll discuss the next part, evidence of the quantized electronic energy level. So one by in this atomic spectra, emission and absorption spectra, and line spectrum of the hydrogen. These three things we'll discuss. The speed of the light depends upon the nature of the medium through which it passes. As a result, the beam of light is deviated or refracted from its original path. as it passes from the one medium to another. It is observed that when a ray of light or white light is passed through a prism, the wave with shorter wavelength bends more than the longer wavelength. Since ordinary white light consists of the waves with all the wavelengths in the visible range, a ray of white light which is spread out into a series of columns called color bands called spectrum. The light of the red color which has longest wavelength deviated the least, while the violet light which has the shortest wavelength is deviated the most. The spectrum of the white light that we can see ranges from violet to 7.5, violet at 7.5 to 5 into 10 upon 14 hertz, and the red at 4 into 10 upon 14 hertz. So such a spectrum is called continuous spectrum. So because violet merges into blue, blue into green, and so on. A similar spectrum is produced when a rainbow forms in the sky. Remember that visible light is just a small portion of the electromagnetic radiation. When electromagnetic radiation interacts with matter, atoms and the molecules may also absorb energy and reach to a higher energy state. With higher energy, they are in an unstable state. For returning to their normal, so more stable having lower energy state, uh, their normal energy states, the atom and molecules emit radiations in various regions of the electromagnetic spectrum. So emission and absorption spectrum. So spectrum of the radiation emitted by a substance that has absorbed energy is called an emission spectrum. Atoms as absorbed energy, atoms, molecules or ions have absorbed radiations are said to be excited. To produce an emission spectrum, energy is supplied to a sample by heating it or irradiating it, and the wavelength or frequency of the radiation emitted as the sample given of the absorbed energy is recorded. Absorption spectrum is like the photoelectrographic negative of an emission spectrum. Absorption spectrum is the photographic radiation of the emission spectrum. A continuum radiation is passed through a sample which absorbs radiation of certain wavelengths. The missing wavelength which corresponds to the radiation absorbed by the matter, so leave the dark spaces in the bright continuous spectrum. The study of emission or absorption spectra is referred to as a spectroscopy. The spectrum of the visible light, as discussed the previous, was continuous as well as wavelength are red to violet of the visible light are represented in the spectra. The emission spectra of atoms in the gas phase, on the other hand, do not show the continuous speed of the wavelength from red to violet. Rather, they emit light only at a specific wavelength with dark space between them. So such spectra are called line spectra or atomic spectra because these emitted radiation is identified by the appearance of the bright line in the spectra. So line emission spectra are of great interest in the study of the electronic structure. Each element has a unique line emission spectrum. The characteristics lines in atomic spectra can be used in the chemical analysis to identify unknown atoms in the same way as a fingerprint which are used to identify the people. The exact matching of lines of the emission spectrum of the atoms of a known element with the lines from the unknown sample quickly establishes the identity of the latter. Later, German chemist Robert Bunsen 1811 and 1899 was one of the first investigator to use line spectra to identify elements. Say, what are the elements he identified? Like elements like rubidium, cesium, thallium, indium, gallium, and scandium are discovered. When their minerals were analyzed by spectroscopic method, the element helium was discovered in the sun by spectroscopic method. So now the line spectrum of the hydrogen. When an electric discharge is passed through a gaseous hydrogen atom, the H2 molecules dissociate and the energetically excited hydrogen atoms produced emit electromagnetic radiation of the discrete frequencies. The hydrogen spectrum consists of the several series of lines named after their discoveries by the scientist. So Balmer showed in 1885 on the basis of the experimental observation that its spectral lines are expressed in terms of the wave number or nu bar. Then the visible lines of the hydrogen spectrum obey the following formula: V bar is equal to 1 lakh 96 9677 1 lakh 9677 into 1 by 2 square minus 1 by n square per centimeter. So where here n is an integer equal to greater than 3. So that is n is equal to 3, 4, 5 and so on so on. The series of lines described by this formula are called the Balmer series. The Balmer series of the lines are the only lines in the hydrogen spectrum which appear in the visible region of the electromagnetic spectrum. The Swedish scientist, his name, Swedish scientist, the name Johannes Rydberg, noted that all the series of the lines in the hydrogen spectrum could be described by the equation V bar is equal to 1,09,677 into 1 by n1 square minus 1 by n2 square into per centimeter. Here n1 is 1, 2, 3 etc. and n2 is n1 plus 1, n2 plus n2 is n1 plus 1, n1 plus 2, n1 plus 3 etc. The value of 1,09,677 per centimeter is called the Rydberg constant in hydrogen. The first 5 series of the lines that corresponds to n1 is 1, 2, 3, 4 and 5. So are named like this: n1. 1 is Lyman series, 2 is Balmer series and 3 is Paschen series and 4th is Brackett series and the 5th one is the Pfund series. So of all the elements, hydrogen atom has the simplest line spectrum. Line spectrum becomes more and more complex for heavier atoms. Okay. So however, certain features which are common to all the line spectrum, that is line spectrum of element is unique and their regularity in the line spectrum of the each element. Okay, students, you can see the hydrogen atomic spectral lines for in the lines spectrum of the hydrogen: Lyman series, Balmer series, Brackett and Pfund series. Here there is also given what is n1, what is n2 of corresponding series and its spectral region. Lyman is n1, so n1, in n2 is 2 and 3, spectral region is ultraviolet. Balmer and Paschen, Brackett, Pfund. So Paschen, Brackett, Pfund are infrared region, Balmer is falling on visible region. So the same thing is explained in this last figure also. The transition of the electron in the hydrogen atom. So this diagram shows the hydrogen, Balmer and Paschen series of transitions. Students, I hope this topic you all got understood. Thanks for watching the video.